Mr. Sushant Sareen is also over the phone line with us right now. Mr. Sareen, how do you read this? A big diplomatic win definitely for India, because we went into appeal against the Qatari court's decision to hand down the death penalty to 8 former Indian Navy officers. We don't know the details of the verdict, but what we're being told by the MEA is that the sentences have been reduced.
Look, I think more than a win, I think it's a matter of great relief that the death sentence has been reduced and it's been reduced to imprisonment. But yes, I'm sure a lot of diplomacy would have, apart from the legal case which was pursued, and the government of India put everything behind the legal case in the appeal which they filed. But aside of that, I think there were a lot of diplomatic levers that were also pulled. Now, this is a halfway house right now. These are some of them are very senior officers, some of them are with very distinguished careers in the Indian Navy. And the entire case is shrouded in some kind of mystery, and, it's not very clear exactly what they were involved in or alleged to have been involved in. But I think the next step has to be to get them back home. I don't think it's going to be acceptable to India to have them in prison in Qatar for whatever length of time. So I think the next step of the diplomatic endeavors will be to try, and as the previous speaker was saying, to try and either get a pardon or try and get some kind of a legal assistance from Qatar and get a very reduced sentence or a suspended sentence, or something to the effect that they can serve the rest of the sentence in India, which will then bring them under Indian court jurisdiction, and then can pursue the case from there. So I would imagine that as of now, it's with a great sense of relief that all Indians would have received this news, but there are still a couple of stages to go before we get these people back to India.
Also, because obviously you watch and you analyze diplomacy so closely, given India-Qatar relations, did you see that Qatar would in fact see reason as soon as they did, as far as this appeal that India made was concerned?
No, if you remember that after the sentence was announced, the Prime Minister had gone to Egypt, and out there were these pictures of him interacting with the Qatari leadership. And the body language seemed to suggest that they were very comfortable with each other. And that time there were some reports that this issue was also raised by the Prime Minister. So I think at the political and at the diplomatic level, the government of India didn't leave anything to chance. They pulled out all the stops to impress upon the Qataris to try and get to at least reduce the sentence so that the sword which was hanging over the heads of these people was lifted. But I think the real challenge is now going to be to get them back home and to see what are the provisions in the Qatari law. I'm not familiar with the Qatari law, but I think, as the previous speaker was saying, the ruler of Qatar does have the power to grant pardons. So maybe I think we will probably be pushing for that. But also remember that in these kind of things, there's always some kind of a quid pro quo. So I wonder if we will ever get to know what the quid pro quo was, or whether this was purely done from the goodness of the heart of the Qatari leadership. That is something that you can put one of your investigative reporters on to try and pry out.